All right, Scorpio, this full moon is in your sixth house and it's emphasizing health, routines, and work. And with Mars in your first house, it's fueling personal transformations and just all around busyness. And so you might connect with new people through work, but tensions could definitely arise around family matters, moving, or past issues resurfacing in conversations, or just like with work in general, especially if there are group projects involved. And so, something I will say is that you also could be going through some body transformations, health transformations, just like Aries. But what I could also see with the tarot card for you being the Five of Swords, the sixth house can sometimes be about like conflict with other people, especially in the workplace, but definitely with just conflict in general. And with Aries being a Mars ruled sign and you being a traditionally Mars ruled sign, I could definitely see the Five of Swords being not just about bruised egos, but also a warning to not cut people off prematurely. Does the punishment fit the crime? I think is the big lesson for this full moon for you. Don't cut people off prematurely if it's not necessary. Um, I think with the Five of Swords, it's saying that one person wins, some one person loses, but at the cost of the relationship. And so just be discerning and ask yourself, is the slight that you were like exposed to, is that worth cutting off the relationship completely? If so, do so. And that goes vice versa for if you are in the situation where somebody's trying to cut you off. If someone is trying to cut you off, all you can do is control yourself. And in that case, you just kind of have to walk away from it. But if you're in the driver's seat, I definitely encourage you to take on that perspective. But other than that, Scorpio, that is all I have for you. Good luck. All right, Sagittarius. The full moon is in your fifth house and it's boosting romance, joy, and self expression, helping you to close the door on heartbreak and embrace new love or creative outlets. With Mars and Scorpio in your second, boundaries and self worth play a big role with tensions possibly arising through miscommunications or even ghosting. We can see that as well. Um, with the tarot card that we got for you, which is going to be the 10 of cups. The 10 of cups is usually about like some sort of like domestic peace, but for some reason I feel like this for you is more of a nudge to make sure that that optimism that you're so famous for is in check and that you're coming back down to reality. And I can definitely see that with that Aries full moon energy. It's definitely adding to that natural enthusiasm. Not everybody has your best interest at heart. And so while I think that this full moon in your fifth could definitely spark new exciting things very quickly, they could also fizzle out just as quickly. And I don't want you to get hurt because you are very much in this 10 of cups energy and you're like, oh my gosh, I found the thing that I was looking for in this person, when really all you need is within you. Because I do think if that optimism it comes up too quickly, and is accepted too quickly without actually having some practical testing behind it, then you could be disappointed. And the 10 of cups is about like inner peace anyway, and before it like goes external into outward domestic peace. And so that is what I have for you, Sagittarius. Good luck. All right, Capricorn, we have this full moon in your fourth house and it's bringing focus to family, the past, and intuition, while Mars in Scorpio is in your 11th and it's stirring up shifts in friendships and goals. So some friendships might end while old allies might resurface. So I would say just pay attention to dreams and insights, but be mindful of home and financial tensions that demand wiser spending or energy use or energy use. And then for the tarot card, we have the Six of Cups for you. The Six of Cups is a lot about nostalgia, wishing that things were simpler. And I want to say, with you, Capricorn in specific, be very careful about getting stuck in the past. Sometimes the past just needs to stay in the past. This is very much like the full moon in Aries, yes, can be very nostalgic because it's the moon, but Aries is kind of like the opposite of that energy. It wants something new and exciting. So don't be afraid to stand on your own 2 feet just because um, something or someone might come up from the past, you really have to discern whether or not you are drawn to it because it's a good opportunity or you need this allyship again. And if that's really what you need at this time, or are you clinging on to it because it's familiar? That is my big thing with the Six of Cups. Enjoy the nostalgia, but just make sure that you are very aware of why you are tapping into that nostalgia. And so that is my 2 cents and tarot scope for you, Capricorn. Good luck. All right, Aquarius, we have this full moon in your third house, and it energizes communication, travel, and projects. When we're talking about travel in the third house sense, we're talking more so about like road trips and short distance travel, just kind of like travel around the neighborhood and just kind of like running errands and busy like travel and things like that. But also with the third house, we can be talking about like more intuitive learning or like more short term learning, like getting certifications and things like that. Um, and what we can also see is some impulsivity that could scatter your focus with this full moon being in that third house. But with Mars and Scorpio in your 10th, your words can definitely carry weight in your career. So definitely choose them wisely, as tensions with authority figures or work pressure might definitely flare. And so we have the tarot card for you as being the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands in particular is a lot about curiosity and like big, like whoosh, like it makes me think of a lighter. It is definitely that curiosity, that enthusiasm, that um kind of like that spark that kind of makes you feel alive again. But it can also be just kind of like this spiciness and this very playful, possibly childish energy that either you or somebody else is engaging in. So just be very aware of being petty when it comes to wanting to be right, in conflict when it comes to authority figures, because I could definitely see that. And I'm just kind of intuitively just already feeling the pettiness that some Aquarians are already on, like at this time. And so just be very mindful of that because it can definitely affect you in a big way since Pluto is in your sign. And so if you think you can get away with pettiness without karma coming at you, I'm sorry. It's not happening. It's not happening. And so it does affect you in a big way with Mars squaring um, Mars and Mercury in your 10th, squaring your energy. And so just be aware of that. And that's all I have for you, Aquarius. Good luck. All right, Pisces, this full moon is happening in your second house and it's highlighting new financial opportunities. But I definitely think with that Aries energy being in your second house, patience and practicality are key. Avoid spending money before it actually arrives in your hand. And definitely with Mars in Scorpio in your ninth, there's a lot happening when it comes to your belief systems and your own self esteem. And so I think even though finances are coming in, I think even more so, this full moon is reminding you that your worth is not directly tied to what's in your bank account, as well as just learning to charge what you are actually worth and really standing 10 toes down on that. We could also see spiritual learning and mentorship might support growth as well. Although tensions could arise from unclear communication, legal issues, or missing paperwork or documents that you might have just kind of running off and and not being found. And so for the tarot card for you, we have the Nine of Swords, which is about anxiety, restless nights. It can be about insomnia as well. With Mars and Scorpio squaring your 12th house, I'm not surprised. Um, we can see Pluto being in your 12th house as well, which can definitely, I think, keep you up a little bit. But I think mostly this is about that there's just a lot going on energetically, and you're learning quite a bit and you're absorbing a lot of energy right now. And so I'd say, like, the best thing would be to ground. Um, and something else that we can see with the Nine of Swords is also that mentally there's just a lot going on, not just, surrounding anxiety, But there's a lot of planning and a lot of possibilities, and that's mostly what I think the Nine of Swords is focusing on in with you in particular with this full moon, is not just the anxiety, but mostly about what could be, because you already really dive into the potential of situations a lot. And so what I could see is that this is really big on you seeing the potential of a situation and wondering, is it going to turn out okay? Is it not? And there is the anxiety part. And so what I would say is just ground yourself, take it one step at a time. And other than that, that is what I have for you, Pisces. I will see you in the next one. Good luck.